to go across the stage because of the screen. Yeah.
I will not forget.
Okay. Maybe up to here should be fine. Yeah. Yeah. And make sure if you were gonna put it on here, make sure that you're close enough to the microphone like this. Okay.
Sometimes, but sometimes, you know, I could explain longer, but it will not stop. Yes, right? I can do it longer. Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. There will be no explosion if I do it longer. Yes.
There will be no of course. Well, maybe we're gonna hand you over like you need to stop.
Yeah, and I will not pay attention.
You need to make eye contact with me.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed guests, may I have your attention, please? The 2023 Global Korea Forum's KDA School sessions will begin shortly. And then the simultaneous interpretation services are available for the multinational audience for today. So kindly use the provided receiver on your chair and then on your desk if you require that service. And for the Korean version of the symposium, please tune in to channel number 1. And for English, please select channel number 2. We will start the session at 1 p.m. Thank you very much. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the first KDI School session of the 2023 Global Korea Forum. I am Chol Liu, a professor at the KDI School of Public Policy and Management, and I will be presiding over these two sessions. On behalf of our hosts, I sincerely appreciate and welcome each of you for gracing us with your presence today. First and foremost, we will hear welcoming remarks from Professor Jong-il Yu, Dean of the KDI School of Public Policy and Management. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage with a round of applause.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, fine.
Not very happy? It's a great pleasure to welcome you to this session of Global Korea Forum, the first of the two sessions organized by KDI School, where we will discuss how to enhance development cooperation between Uzbekistan and Korea. These two KDI sessions are based on the policy report, preliminary study to promote customized win-win development projects between Korea and Uzbekistan. Well, Korea and Central Asia, now I find out. An outcome of a KDI School research project sponsored by NRC, National Research Council for Economics, Humanities, and Social Science. Let me take this opportunity to note my appreciation to NRC for the financial and other support for the project and our sessions. Let me also thank our Uzbek partners for the research projects. Uzbekistan Agency for Strategic Reform, Ministry of Economy and Finance, Agency for Working Mahalabay and Development of Entrepreneurship, Central Bank of Uzbekistan, and National Academy of Public Administration. I welcome and thank all the presenters from Uzbek partner institutions. I guess in the first row, you are going to be making the presentations. Yeah? And also researchers from other universities, including Harvard, Indiana, and Yonsei, who will be sharing their findings and insights. We have a number of discussants representing various institutions that I hope will be instrumental as we move forward to actually implement the development projects that are identified in our research. They include such Korean institutions as Ministry of Economy and Finance, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Korea Overseas Infrastructure and Urban Development Cooperation, Exim Bank, KOICA, and Korea Foundation for International Healthcare, as well as Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MIGA, of the World Bank Group. Above all, I'd like to express my deep appreciation to Professor Chol Liu, who we just met from KDI School, who's been leading this research as the project manager and played a pivotal role in organizing our sessions today. In April of this year, I visited Uzbekistan in connection with the project, exchanging views and signing MOUs with the Uzbekistan Agency for Strategic Reform and other partner institutions that I just mentioned. It was actually my first visit to Uzbekistan, and I got strong impressions. And if you allow me, let me share some of those impressions with you. First, I was pretty struck by Uzbek culture. Of course, we all know that Uzbekistan has a rich history, especially a history of East-West cultural exchanges, mostly from East to West, I guess. Apart from the relics of the Silk Road, I was particularly impressed by the unique patterns that I found in Uzbekistan. Very geometrical and at the same time very intricate and sometimes very dynamic. I actually put on a T-shirt that I brought from Uzbekistan a lot in the last summer because I liked the pattern. Second, the living standard and the level of social development, it seemed to me fairly high. Certainly much better than one would expect from the official statistic of per capita GDP. Something I, as an economist, always check whenever I visit a country that I'm not already familiar with. I've not fully figured out the reasons why, although I have some conjectures and hypotheses. At any rate, I consider this to be a great positive factor in the future development of Uzbekistan. Some of you may be familiar with this quote from the great economic historian Moses Abramovich. Probably most of you don't know him. He said, a country's potential for rapid growth is strong when it is technologically backward but socially advanced. What does it mean to be socially advanced relative to the level of technology? That is a big question, and I don't have time to go into that, but that was the impression that I received, and I think it's a good foundation. Third, perhaps most importantly, I sensed the people of Uzbekistan are in general very energetic, filled with energy, and open to outsiders and new ideas. And the government officials, I met a lot of them, ministers and vice ministers and other high-ranking officials. They all seemed quite determined to implement reforms. I believe these traits are the most important foundation for successful development. As we all know, Uzbekistan and Korea have developed a friendly relationship over the years, with Uzbekistan showing a keen interest in benchmarking the Korean experience and institutions. It's not an accident, I think, that there are more than 80 KDI school graduates in Uzbekistan, and they are all playing important roles in their chosen fields. I can't forget the happy and fun-filled reunion of the KDI School alumni gathering in Tashkent in the spring, where about 50 alumni gathered together. However, we must admit that the scope and the depth of the bilateral relationship between Korea and Uzbekistan are far from reaching their full potential. I hope the KDI School research project and today's discussions will help identify the most useful development cooperation projects that can pave the way to their full potential. As the Dean of KDI School, I promise that KDI School will do its best to help this endeavor. Let me stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dean Jong-il Yu. And now we're going to have the first session. Let's commence our first session with the theme, Empowering Korea-Uzbek Collaboration in Governance, Economy, and Infrastructure. So for this session, we have 4 presentations. Okay? And the speakers are first, Shonazarov Mukhto Doniorovich, Uzbekistan Agency for Working Mahalabe and Development of Entrepreneurship. Okay? And then we have Bakhtior Norboyev, Uzbekistan Agency for Working Mahalabe and the Development of Entrepreneurship. Timur Akramov, Uzbekistan Ministry of Transport. Peruz Ermatov, Central Bank of Uzbekistan. And finally, Imbok Ri, the KDI School of Public Policy and Management. The speakers for the first 3 presentations are present here with us. And for the final presentation, we will play a pre-recorded video for this session. Please join me in welcoming each speaker to the stage with a round of applause. Okay? And Mr. Novoev, you will be the first, right?
Thank you very much, Professor Liu. It is great honor for us to be here today by Global Korea Forum and to have such a great opportunity to present some economical spheres of our country and to get and to introduce to you the processes which is ongoing in our country within of last years. And first of all, I would like to thank NRC and KDI organization for such great organization of the forum, and and all participants for coming here to actually who are interested in Uzbekistan. And thank you very much for coming. And special thanks to Plaza Hotel for technical assistance of this panel session. Thank you very much, dear guests. And let me start my presentation with introduction of common economical processes which is ongoing in our country last 5 years. Since 2016, our country launched large-scale economical reforms initiated by our President Shavkat Miromonovich Mirziyoyev, and we started liberalization of our economical sector, and we started to be more actively with our neighboring countries, and we invited all international partners for mutual cooperation, and and within of last 5 years we achieved really good results, and our economic growth in 2023 showed the data of 5.5%, and even there was a great influence of pandemic. It succeeded for us to grow our economy very intensively, and that is really was point out very positively by many international financial organizations like World Bank, and which cooperating with Uzbekistan very closely and conducting many projects in different sphere of our economical sector. So just to give you imagination about foreign trade activity of our country, I would note some points that occupies a major priority in our foreign trade activity. So Uzbekistan occupies 14th position in the world on mining of natural gas, and the 4th position on export of cotton, and the 6th position on production of cotton. And we are on 12th place in the world also on mining of uranium. And Uzbekistan is very rich in gold, and the gold mining reserves of Uzbekistan actually occupy occupying one of the leading places in the world, and Uzbekistan is the fourth largest country in terms of gold mining resources. Yes, and structure of BIP on the sectors is follow. 90% of BIP actually belongs to agricultural sector, 47% to service sector, and 33% to industrial sector. And employment actually in sectors, 44% in agricultural sector and 20% in industrial sector and 36% in the sphere of in the service sector. So, and the common volume of allocated investments in 2022 showed us $10 billion, and our president is aiming to achieve actually $100 billion within of next 5 years, and annually export volume actually until $30 billion. The major actually products of in foreign trade of our country is actually cotton, gold, and machinery, and we started also export of fruits, dry fruits, and fresh fruits, and chemical industry is in our country on leading position. We exporting many goods in chemical industry, as well as importing some technologies as well. And I should say that export position of our country in 2022 was $13 billion, $5.8 billion, sorry, and import is $7.4 billion. And turnover of our country actually showed us $13.2 billion. And we started also to change the structure of our economy, and as you know, Uzbekistan is mostly agrarian country, but we started to reduce the share of this sector and increase industrial sector. And but we do it quite slowly, just in order to avoid very strong influence on population which is engaged in agricultural sector. And you know that 80% of the territory of Uzbekistan consists of deserts and steppes, and we started to use our geographical position as an advantage, and we constructing in the deserts solar batteries and started to get green energy, and this energy will be actually supplied to the population. And another sector which will replace in the future agrarian sector, some part of agrarian sector is tourism industry, and we do great hopes on this branch of economy, and you know that Uzbekistan is one of the most popular destination in the world, and but we have many issues that should be solved in the coming future, such as improving of infrastructure in tourism industry, and banking system. We improving also our banking system, and we started constructing the roads, for transit ways, and because Uzbekistan is located in very good position in Central Asia, and Uzbekistan, like is actually main transportation hub in this region, and a lot of ways connecting China with other regions neighboring to Central Asia, and recently we constructed the railway from China through Kyrgyzstan and to Uzbekistan, and it's just beginning, and we will develop our infrastructure further, and we started also to develop our such as an important sector of economy like IT technologies, and there are a lot of projects that we started to implement in our country, and in this direction I think we will reach also great results with the help of our foreign partners, of course. So, economical indicators of Uzbekistan, you can see on the screen now. Actually, I mentioned some of them, and yeah, on this statistical data, you can see the growth of GDP, and even it's slowly, but we do it gradually, and Uzbekistan is developing, and this is what was actually confirmed and recognized by many countries and international financial organizations. So, and most important area that should be developed in our country in terms of further economical development of our country is, of course, entrepreneurship, and in this sphere we started also large-scale reforms, but I will explain this after some times. So in 2020, our president first time mentioned about the poverty in our country by his speech addressed to Parliament of Uzbekistan. And it was actually pointed out that the poverty in Uzbekistan is between 12 and 50%, and it is about 5 million people of common population. And I should say that we need some knowledges to identify the poverty level in our country, and in this regard, our very good partner, World Bank, rendered very great assistance, and with the help of World Bank, we actually went into standards, international standards, and the minimum consumer expenditure per capita was fixed in amount 498 som. It is $45 approximately. It was done in 2022, and according to this criteria, poverty rate was 70% to the total population. Yeah, and today this level actually dropped down to 40%, 30%, and nowadays it's 568,000 som. Yes, and it's about $50. Yeah. So and from the very beginning, our president started to pay great attention to entrepreneurs of Uzbekistan, and he designed a new system of entrepreneurship support by the government, and for this purpose, the government decided to involve mahallas. Mahallas in our country, mahallas actually is a local community within our districts. In each mahalla, we started to support entrepreneurs, and for this purpose was was founded the institution of assistance of mayor, and was actually founded our agency for working mahalabai and the development of entrepreneurship. So, and the assistants of mayor, who they are? We need, of course, enormous number of people, because we have more than 9,000 mahallas in our country, local communities within our district in our country. And we started select for this position the leading, talented, enthusiastic young people until 80 years old. And there was a very strong selection, and we chose the best ones among the big number of candidates. And actually the man share was even bigger, but the woman share is getting more annually. And before they start the activity, we should explain them and give some basic knowledges. And in such way, we organize professional education for them and give them knowledge, additional knowledges for their further activity. And of course, they needed condition for working, and of course, appropriate tools for working with the population. And we provided them with offices, with the furniture, and we gave them tablets, internet, and of course, financial tools. For family entrepreneurship development programs, the government issued 10 trillion som. And we have a foundation for attracting people to entrepreneurship. For these purposes, the government also gave financial resources, and for employment also. And we started with the simple ones, and our assistants of mayor began to give the population subsidies for construction of greenhouses, for labor tools, and as you see, weaving machines, and even we started to pay the rent, and even the starting capital for business entities, and for educational purposes, of course. Yes. And another step is we started covers education, vocational training, and professional training of our population, which is going to be some of them entrepreneurs. And we, as you see, we covered 70% of training courses, and we issued them 300 million SOMs with 14%. It's actually preferential rate. Yes. And I should just explain you, Professor, just 2 minutes, how it's working even today in our country. This assistance of mayor, the person who bringing our reforms, social economical reforms to each family in our country, and the informing about the subsidies, preferential loans, and conditions that was created by our government in terms of vocational training, entrepreneurship, and they also listening the problems of population, and we divided these families all over the country onto 3 groups. First group of families which require just vocational training to get some profession. Another group is families are going to start own businesses, and third group is self-sufficient families who actually don't need any assistance from the state. And with these tablets, they were monitoring and gathering all information and put it into our online platform. Our agency created a unique online platform. It's a database of all families in Uzbekistan. Yes, and here you can find all families in our country, and who is unemployed, who would like to start businesses, who is acting entrepreneurs, the problems of these families, and it's everything in that platform. Yes. So, and okay, again, platforms. So, and as you see here, the results of activity of assistance of mayors, and they actually within of 1.5 years they reached very great results, and many people became employed, many people were involved into entrepreneurship, and many people got vocational training, and they got some professions. Yes. And here you can see also some database which we reached, and it's here you can see the micro projects that was conducted by assistance of mayor together with the population. Yes. Yeah, and the income of population is getting increased with the help of assistance of mayor, and the main areas of activity of assistance of mayor is to reduce poverty reduction, to reduce poverty and provide employment of population, involving of population into entrepreneurship, and supporting of acting entrepreneurship. Yes. So, and here also results, and just 2 words about Uzbek Korean. Oh, sorry. Can I push it again? Can I come back to? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just 2 words about Uzbek-Korean relations in economical sector, and I will finish, Mr. Professor. It's too much information, you know, but it's very hard to describe everything in very short time, of course. Yes. Professor? Yeah. So here you see the dynamic of Uzbek-Korean turnover within of 2018-2023. As you see, it was actually reached great results in 2019, and due to the pandemic, the turnover is dropped down, but we started to recreate this data and these results, and I think in the near future it will be great also. And the joint institution, we created Korean-Uzbek Business Association, Uzbek-Korean Education Textile Technopark, Scientific Technological Center Rare Metals and Alloys, Design and Technology Center for Agricultural Machinery, Uzbek-Korean Center of Cooperation in the Sphere of Digital Government. And nowadays, the 79 Korean representative enterprises with direct Korean investment $7 billion and enterprise with 100% Korean capital 563 and allocated Korean funds actually 320 billion US dollars and joint ventures with Korean share 930. And I would like to thank again for your attention, and Professor Liu, I do apologize for breaking the limit of time, and thank you very much for your attention, and I wish all of you the pleasant participation by this forum. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Nurgoyev. So now a second presentation will be delivered by Mr. Timur Akramarov.
It's an immense pleasure to start my presentation by heartily greeting and welcoming organizers and all participants of today part of Global Korea Forum. Thank you all for your coming and making your time. In my presentation today, I'd like to give an overall outlook on reforms being introduced by Uzbek government to develop efficient and integrated transportation system that can correspond to all needs of the economy, that is, of the population, business entities, and companies that produce transport services in Uzbekistan. Besides it, I also want to give brief information about strategies that were developed to improve the transportation system itself and issues that could be an obstacle in the future to fulfill such an important and crucial task that stands before the government of Uzbekistan. With your permission, let me start the presentation itself. First of all, I'd like to introduce the brief history of the creation of Ministry of Transport and the purpose of its creation and the main tasks that were consolidated to the Ministry of Transport by government. So, by decision of government, to be more precise, by the resolution of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, in February 2019 was established the Ministry of Transport. The purpose of establishment was to create a single state body that is responsible for unified regulation of all means of transportation. That can radically improve the public administration system in the field of transport, increase the investment attractiveness and export potential of Uzbekistan, ensure the strategic development and sustainable functioning of transport communications. As a regulator, the ministry is responsible for the development and implementation of a unified state policy in the field of development of motor transport, railway, air and river transport, all urban electric public transportation means such as subway, tram, trolleybus, and as well as road infrastructure. State regulation of the activities of transportation organizations in Uzbekistan is carried out by the ministry by adopting regulations, issuing licenses and permits, certification and implementing effective technical and tariff policies. So, by the resolution of the president that I mentioned above, I want to list some main functions and tasks of the ministry. Firstly, it is development of a unified state transport policy aimed at the harmonious development of all types of transport based on their integration into a single transport network and the use of new efficient transport and logistics systems. The next task is to develop public-private partnerships and increase the country's investment attractiveness in the field of transport and road infrastructure. Besides it, to the jurisdiction of the ministry were transferred several organizations like Road State Committee and several state inspectorates that are responsible for supervision of flight safety, supervision of the safety of railway transportation, and responsible for quality control of road construction works. Here I want to say that these inspectorates that were merged into one single transport inspectorate that is determined now as a Republican executive body that carries out supervisory functions in the areas of motor transport, railway, water, electric transport, and road facilities. Moreover, some functions that were before were scattered among other organizations were also transferred to the ministry. It is functions that were carried out by the Ministry of Emergency Situations of Uzbekistan, like registration and inspection of ships, issuing ship certificates and other documents provided by the rules governing navigation to ships. And also functions that were also carried by Uzbekistan Railways Joint Stock Company, like development of state programs in railway transport sphere, approval of projects for the construction and reconstruction of railway access tracks, were also transferred to the Ministry of Transport. The crucial moment of reforms also was creation of one single inspectorate, single integrated center that is named Digital Transport Center, that is responsible for implementing all digitalization projects in transport sphere in the territory of Uzbekistan. And here in the screen, I also showed the main results and taken measures during the functioning of the ministry from its start in 2019 until now in the field of transportation. First of all, good achievement was formation of unified state policy in the field of transport. Monthly, quarterly, and annual basis were analyzed problems of the development of main course of development of the transportation system. And the core basis of the creation and formation of the unified transport policy was adoption of the law on transport. This law is to regulate relations in the field of transport arising when carrying out transport activities on a commercial basis. Moreover, till the end of year 2022, in the field of regulating transport and road management spheres, 78 crucial legal documents were approved. Also, reforms positively affected public transportation, aviation services, and road freight transportation. As for public transportation system, about 1,100 settlements that were out of reach by public transportation were covered by transport services. And there was also good shiftment in the development of aviation services market. It was liberalized by its liberalization procedures. There were created the new 5 domestic airlines. Before it was only one air company that conducted flights on the name of Uzbekistan. In this slide, you can see the development of transport sector of Uzbekistan in figures from 2018 to 2022. Overall transport services volume produced by transportation companies of Uzbekistan in 5 years almost doubled. That is comparing 2022 in relation to 2018. The huge share of these transport services belongs to road transportation. It is about half of the total volume of transport services. Due to the reforms, there were created also opportunity for other types of transport as railway and air. They are also showing noticeable growth in their volume. I think it can be said that increase of aviation fleet to 39 airplanes by purchasing 18 new planes during these 5 years. Development of capacity of public transportation and railway transportation by purchasing about 2,800 new buses and about 2,200 new wagons. Was one of the core reasons that allowed to support growth rates in the development of transportation sector. There we can see that at the beginning of the at the beginning of the year of 2022, we approved development strategy of New Uzbekistan for 2020 to 2026. Within the framework of the strategy, it was aimed to further develop unified transportation system with organic connection of all types of transportation. In order to be just on time, I want to switch to the projects in transportation sphere that we can cooperate. Sorry, no. The first project is construction and operation Tashkent-Andijan toll road. With total length of track 322 kilometers. The implementation mechanism consists of 4 stages: designing, financing, construction, operation. Speed limits planned to be within the interval of 18,150 kilometers per hour. Based on pre-feasibility study, the project cost is approximately more than $4 billion US. In the next slide, you can also see the general information on Tashkent-Samarkand Road Public Partnership Project. I think that I can stop now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Next presentation will be delivered by Mr. Feruz Ermatov and Viktor Doniyorovich. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me thank you for all coming today. And also, I would like to thank you, Korean Prime Minister's Office and the National Research Center and DAY3 School, especially Professor Liu, for inviting me to this forum. The Central Bank of Uzbekistan appreciates the cooperation of the Republic of Korea and is always pleased to receive proposals in this regard. Thank you. Now, let me start by saying a few words about my own background. As you can see in the screen, our topic today is the fourth financial support for small business projects in Uzbekistan. First of all, I would like to give you a basic information. Next, I'll focus on the results of survey of existing problems, business entities, and we will consider its share of banking sphere. After that, we will focus on the loans allocated by commercial banks to small business entities, including family entrepreneurship programs. Finally, the conclusion section and our future plans will be detailed with my colleagues. It will take about 10 and 15 minutes to cover these issues. What about basic informations? There are some informations about Uzbekistan, and I can give you about basics. In our country, there are 35 banks and their branches, more than 800, and 2 of them is full digitalized, and there are more than 625,000 business entities, and GDP of our country is around 18 billion USD, and expected in 2014, 85 billion USD. And what about survey of the result of existing problems in business entities? We can see in this slide banking services are more of others, and second and survey of the activities of small business entities and their development opportunities and existing problems. There are a lot of demand for preferential loan and demand for commercial loan, and others, and demand for a foreign credit line is less than others. And we can see in this slide total allocated credits to small business entities during 2016 and 2014. We can see the growth after pandemic period, and despite the amount of and the value of allocated credits in individuals, there are business entities less than according to their quantity. And now I'm going to tell about family entrepreneurship program. According to the decision of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, family entrepreneurship program fully digitalized from application process to crediting. First of all, somebody who wants to get a credit may fill the application with this oilecredit.uz, and then it will be scoring, and after that assistance to the hakims will recommend to crediting and conclusion of a loan agreement. After that, somebody who wants to credit should purchase and deliver of goods. This process also digitalized by the smartmarket.uz, and after that monitoring and commercial banks implemented their payments. And there you can see the amount of and the purpose of this family entrepreneurship program. And there are, in our country, it has been continued by Presidential Decree 39 in this year, and the amount of credit by the recommendation of assistance of hakims up to 300 million sums, and the borrowers should own participation up to 30%. And collateral about, it should be liquid collateral. And there are also the possibility of receiving up to 10 million sums, up to 20 million sums for artisans to a bank card without the possibility of withdrawing money. And we can see in this slide the trend of credits allocated in family entrepreneurship program during 2018 and up to 1st October in this year. And in this year, it's been planned to allocate credits up to 12 billion sum. And we can see in this slide the allocated credits by regions. And I can also say about the benefit of new agency. After establishing Mahalaba agency, the amount of non-performance loans decreased rapidly from 20 to 2 or 3%. And I would just like to finish my words with a great motto of your country. All these delegates have a same goal, like your motto, benefit broadly in the human world. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite my colleagues, Mukhtar Shonazarov, to say about future plans and our conclusion. Thank you very much.
Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli Global Korea Forum ishtirokchilari. Fursatdan foydalanib, bugungi o'tkazilayotgan forumga taklif etganingizlar uchun alohida minnatdorchilik bildiramiz.
So, dear all participants of Global Korea Forum, I would like to thank all of you for your participation and attention to our presentation. It's a great honor for us to be here and to participate together with you by this respectful forum.
Jumladan Koreyaning bosh vazir kotibiyati, Milliy tadqiqot markazi, Davlat boshqaruv instituti, KIPA, NRC va shu o'rinda yaqindan hamkorlik qilgan professor Chiluga alohida minnatdorchilik bildiramiz.
So we would like to express our thanks to the Office of Prime Minister of Republic of Korea, National Research Center, and KDI School, and special thanks to Professor Liu, who was permanent with us in collaboration, in contact, and he helped us to come here and participate by this forum, and thank you very much for giving such a great opportunity.
Ruxsatingiz bilan hamkasblarim tomonidan qilingan tadqiqotni yakuniga hamkorlikda ikkita tomonlama amalga oshiriladigan loyihalarimiz to'g'risida o'z takliflarimizni bildirsak, umumiy takliflarimizni bildirsak.
Considering all issues mentioned above by my colleagues, let me quite shortly to point out some areas where we could collaborate and organize some common projects. Yes.
Yuqorida qayd etilgan har qanday soha bo'lishiga qaramay, aynan mazkur sohalarni rivojlantirish, rivojlantirishda albatta mas'ul xodimlarning bilim va ko'nikmalarini oshirish va jahon andazalariga mos bilim va ko'nikmalarni oshirish juda muhim omil bo'lib hisoblanadi va mazkur mas'ul mutaxassislarni Koreyaning bilim va ko'nikmalariga mos ravishda o'rganishi muhim deb hisoblaymiz.
So the main agenda in order to achieve some goals in any sector, it's highly important to pay great attention to capacity building. And in this regard, I'd like to point out some issue.
Bugungi kunda hududlarni ijtimoiy-iqtisodiy rivojlantirishda aynan hokim yordamchilariga yuklatilgan vazifa va mas'uliyat yuqori bo'lib, mazkur sohada hokim yordamchilari, mahalla va ishlash agentligi va mahalliy iqtisodiy tarmoqlarni, mas'ul xodimlarni bilim ko'nikmalarini oshirish muhim masala deb hisoblaymiz.
As my colleague mentioned previously by his presentation, as you understand that the Assistance of Mayor institution was created in Uzbekistan, who are directly responsible for development of entrepreneurship in Uzbekistan, and there is actually the issues could be solved together with Korean, our partners, and we need to actually enrich the knowledges of assistance of mayor based on Korean experience in the field of entrepreneurship development.
Shu bilan birga kichik va o'rta biznes subyektlarini eksport salohiyatini oshirish va ularni tadbirkorlik muhitida o'z o'rnini topishlari uchun ham sharoitlar va imkoniyatlarni yaratishda ikkita tomonlama savdo maydonlarini yaratish va mazkur savdo maydonlarini huquqiy asoslarini yaratish ham muhim omil hisoblanadi.
And it is highly important to create a common platform for our SMEs for improving of the business condition for export potentials, and in our country actually the share of SMEs reached 54% of BIP, and we aim to enlarge this share with involvement of women, because women potential are very great, and there are a lot of issues that could be actually very important for strengthening our SMEs of Uzbekistan.
Shu bilan birga tadbirkorlik subyektlarini qo'llab-quvvatlashda biznes inkubator, biznes akselerator va biznes agregatorlar tizimini yaratish ham muhim omil bo'ladi. Albatta, bu borada Koreya tomonidan ortilgan juda muhim omil va bilimlar yuqori mazkur bilimlarni e'tirof etgan holda mazkur sohada hamkorlik qilishdan ham umidvormiz.
It is also a relevant issue to get assistance of our Korean partner in creation of business incubation, aggregator and accelerating systems in the regions of our country, and we are ready to get know the very advanced experience of Republic of Korea in this sphere, and we're looking forward to collaboration in this sphere.
Yana bir muhim masala u ham bo'lsa qishloq hududlarda qishloq xo'jalik mahsulotlarini yetishtirish, ularni qayta ishlash va mahalliy brendlarni rivojlantirish va to'liq sotuv zanjirini yaratishda ham hamkorlik qilishdan umidvormiz.
And it's also important for us, as we're still agrarian sector in priority in Uzbekistan, to promote agricultural products of our farmers, of SMEs engaged in this sector, and it's also important agenda to start education in branding of products and creation of the range of chain until from the very beginning until the finished product.
Shu bilan birga aynan startup va innovatsion loyihalarni qo'llab-quvvatlashda ham hamkorligimizni amalga oshirishimizdan umidvormiz.
And we do hope also on common collaboration in issues of promoting startup projects and innovative projects, and we know that Korea reached great results in this sphere, and we do hope to start common efforts also in promoting startup projects.
Shu bilan birga amalga oshirilayotgan ijtimoiy loyihalarda aynan Koreyaning mas'ul fondlari va banklarini resurs mablag'larini jalb etishga ham chaqirib qolamiz.
And we actually also are very interested in the financial resources of our Korean partners in the in realization of social projects of our country.
Shu bilan birga yana bir muhim masala, ya'ni bugungi kunda shu qisqa muddatda O'zbekiston Respublikasi tomonidan kichik o'rta biznesni rivojlantirish va aholini ijtimoiy qo'llab-quvvatlash, hududlarni qo'llab-quvvatlash maqsadida ajratilgan resurs mablag'lari va amalga oshirilayotgan islohotlar, chora-tadbirlarning natijalarini, samaradorligini hamkorlikda tadqiqot institutlari bilan o'rganishdan chaqirib qolamiz.
And we are ready to start actually common researches together with the National Research Center and the KDI School in order to get know the results of our reforms conducting in promoting of SMEs in our country, and we need methodology and actually your assistance in the conducting researches to find out whether we go with the right way and whether we reached the positive results. Yes.
Shu bilan birga yuqorida Markaziy bank tomonidan aytib o'tilgan dasturda ham aynan tadbirkorlik subyektlariga resurs mablag'larini jozibadorligini oshirish bo'yicha yangi iqtisodiy instrumentlarni joriy etishda, huquqiy asoslarni yaratishda hamkorlikka chaqirib qolamiz. U ham bo'lsa biznes boshlash uchun venture fondlar, biznes angellar va crowdfunding masalalarida ijtimoiy huquqiy asoslarni yaratishda yordaminglar kerak.
And the creation of the legislative base for promoting of SMEs and such institutions like business angels and crowdfunding, venture funds, and these issues are very relevant in our country, and we count on assistance of our Korean partners, and the legislative base, creation of the legislative base is highly important and relevant in our country, and we do hope on collaboration in this sphere too.
Fursatdan foydalanib yana bir bor taklif uchun minnatdorchilik bildirgan holda hamkorlikda amalga oshirayotgan loyihalarimizdan umidvormiz.
And thank you very much for actually giving us such opportunity to delight our proposals as well. And we do hope that these proposals will meet the interest of our Korean partner, and we will start further discussion on these points. And just with two words, let's bring each other closer and let's start collaboration more closely, and because Korea, Republic of Korea is our major partner, strategical partner, and we count on our partners and assistance in the issues that we delighted today by our presentations. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have fourth presentation, but instead of, because of the time constraint, we will not play the pre-recorded video, but we will just move on to the discussion session directly. Okay, so give them a couple of minutes to set up the table and chairs. Okay, discussants, please come to the stage and take a seat. Yeah, you have your name tag. Okay, actually, I'm very happy to have these, very distinguished experts and practitioners and researchers, and I'm very happy to introduce them to you. Our esteemed discussants are Eui-sun Jang, Director of the Korean Ministry of Economy and Finance, and Jeon Ji-hye, Director, Korean International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, and Ryan Kwang-bok Lee, Director of Urban Property Development of the Korea Overseas Infrastructure and Urban Development Cooperation, which is called KIND. And finally, Dr. Suyong Hwang from Korea Action Bank. So they will share their ideas and knowledges or opinions and suggestions about the collaboration between Korea and Uzbekistan government, especially how can we develop our collaborations for ODA projects and EDCF projects. So Eui-sun Jang, Director Eui-sun, can you start?
말씀드리겠습니다.
Yes, let me begin. So, until now, we have heard presentations and we heard about proposals from the Uzbekistan side. So we heard the Uzbekistan perspective. Now, I would like to talk about the perspective of Korea. So what we think in terms of these ODA partnerships. And so we heard the presentation on Uzbekistan economy, and so per capita GDP is about 2,300, and in spite of the pandemic, the economic growth is about 5% per year, so it's quite good growth. Of course, there is the Ukrainian-Russian war, but I think Uzbekistan is doing very well in spite of the war nearby, so they're very resilient. And in terms of relations with Korea, well, diplomatic ties were made in 1992. So in the last 30 years, the trade volume increased by 700-fold. And of course, that's because the trade volume was very small when we first began, but still, growth is quite fast. And Uzbekistan exports, if we look at that volume, well, Korea is the 5th export destination. So number 1 is Russia, and then China, followed by Kazakhstan. So nearby nations, and Turkey and Korea would be in the 4th place and 5th place. So Korea is a very important trading partner for Uzbekistan. So these are some economic facts that I wanted to cover. So having said this, of course, Uzbekistan wants to expand and strengthen the relationship that it has with Korea. So which areas can we focus on in terms of cooperation? I would like to talk about these potential areas. And as we heard during the presentations, in Uzbekistan, they have rich natural resources. And so that's one area where we can focus on in terms of cooperation. And of course, we're talking about global value chain changing very fast at a global level. So that will be a very big strength if we can cooperate in terms of natural resources. And in Kyrgyz, they have a rare metal center. And so in terms of battery and semiconductor, there would be some key material for these industries. So that could become a very good example. or success case. And molybdenum and tungsten are some natural resources, and if Uzbekistan can use such raw materials, I think they can leap into high-tech industries. And the second area that I want to mention is something that was already mentioned. So Uzbekistan currently is focused on mining and agriculture, so primary industry. However, they need to make a shift, and they're trying to reform and make changes so that they will go into manufacturing. And I'm sure there is room for cooperation in that area as well. So in terms of green and digital, these are the trends of the times, and so we're geared towards that direction, green and digital. And we have KSP and EIPP carried out by the Ministry of Economy and Finance of Korea. And through these programs, we can further strengthen our cooperation. Also, in terms of manufacturing solar panels, I believe Uzbekistan is quite interested in that technology, and also healthcare area and financial settlement. These are areas where we can try to identify new areas of cooperation. One other thing, well, this is more traditional. And with Uzbekistan, even from the past, we have cooperated in terms of education and healthcare. So as part of the EDCF project, most of the projects had to do with healthcare. So general hospitals or building universities. So we have had a lot of cooperation in the past in the healthcare area, and we can further strengthen that. So I have gone over areas about cooperation, and next I would like to talk about ODA. This was previously mentioned, but I want to repeat. So Uzbekistan is a hub country in Central Asia, and we focus our ODA in Uzbekistan, and of course we're quite active in EDCF. So $1 billion FA agreement was signed, but we will be using up that fund by the end of this year. But then after that, we will be developing other new products. So it's not just EDCF. We also have EIPP and KSP. We have other mechanisms that can be employed. So that is all. Thank you.
네. I am Jeon Ji-hye from Korea. So we have listened to the general overview, but I'd like to introduce some of the main projects that we do in the region and introduce some excellent case studies. Like we have discussed, we provide and give assistance to build CDS, and there are 4 main areas: healthcare, education, public administration, ICT, and regional development. And in this area, we have grant and concessional loan as well. And to implement CSP, Korea is conducting country program in Uzbekistan, and out of the 4 areas, we focus on training talent in the education sector, and in healthcare sector, we help to construct modernized healthcare system, and in ICT administration system, we focus on improving the efficiency of the system in Uzbekistan. So these are the areas that we focus on, and we also have listened to some future plans, and future collaborative efforts could be made between the 2 countries from the Uzbekistan Central Bank. We talked about entrepreneurship, support to SME, and also capacity building for SMEs too. Korea is providing support through Innovation Center. And also in 5 regions, we have vocational training centers too. And also we do inspection in agricultural products and plants as well. And from many projects that we have conducted, there are also some areas that we can identify further. And what are the success factors behind these projects? One is when we do ODA business, we need to reduce risks. And the safest way to do so is to expand on our successful projects. One of the excellent case studies we have is providing vocational training. We started in 2007 in Samarkand region. This has been expanded to other 5 regions. So this Korean model has become a benchmark model in Uzbekistan. Secondly speaking, cooperation among institutions, among projects are important success factors. We also conducted a project to build children's hospital funded by EDCF. We provided training of medical professionals, and also we strengthened the operational management of hospitals, and the training was provided by the COFI. Some of these excellent case studies can be expanded to other regions. With cooperation with institutions, I think we need to build synergy effects too.
Good afternoon. This is Ryan Lee from KIND. We have a very long name, Korea Overseas Infrastructure and Urban Development Corporation, so everybody calls us KIND. So I know Korea has been very active in providing ODA for health sector and textile and agriculture sector. So we have to keep on cooperating on it. Especially, we understand textile and agriculture sector is how the sector is important for Uzbekistan's economy. We cannot regard it merely as a private sector. It also has the important aspect as the public sector. So we have to keep on collaboration on those sectors. And what I'd like to stress today is we also have to increase our collaboration in smart city and urban development sector, because KIND is running a package called K-City Network. So with this K-City Network, upon the request from Ministry of Innovative Development, we provided the feasibility study and master planning for Tashkent Smart City. Because Tashkent is already very packed, and Tashkent is seeking expansion with the Bektemir district. So we provided the urban development plan and the basic feasibility study to develop Bektemir's district as a smart city. But we shouldn't stop with the planning only. We have to set some budget, and we also provide some benefits to the investor. And KIND is a governmental investor, so we have to collect other Korean and global investors together so that we can review in much more detail to make the final investment. That's the way we can implement such smart city construction. So let's not stop at the planning stage. Let's work together to implement, to build the smart city. That is my suggestion today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Huang from Kakshin Bank. I want to talk about transport sector, the ODA project. Actually, the KDI school, Dean Yu Jong-il mentioned about the research project between NRC and Uzbekistan government. And our research project delegation visited Tashkent early October to discuss development project. And I want to summarize the development project we discussed each other in early October. Actually, Uzbekistan is a very important development partner for Korea, and Korea has very important development experience. And that kind of experience is really necessary for Uzbekistan government for sustainable development. And Uzbekistan has a high potential for development. IMF statistics say last year Uzbekistan grew 5.7%, and this year 5.5% economic growth is forecasted. And Uzbekistan has the largest population in Central Asia, and 36 million, compared to 20 million in Kazakhstan and 10 million Tajikistan, and even 6 million Turkmenistan. Therefore, high potential for growth. And but Uzbekistan has some kind of handicap. It's a landlocked country. Therefore, transport infrastructure project is so much important for development. I want to summarize some kind of development project we discussed in early October. The first one is highway project. Timur also mentioned about that kind of project. The highway project is first one in Uzbekistan, connecting the Tashkent and Andijan industrial city. This kind of project is also the the Korea overseas the infrastructure development corporation also conducting some kind of pre-FS, almost finalized. And also World Bank also conducting that kind of feasibility study. Therefore, I guess next year Uzbekistan government will proceed some kind of RFQ, RFP will be processed next year. But the size of cost of this kind of project, $2.7 billion. Therefore, I think the financing plan is most important key element for success of this project. Next one is high-speed train project. And high-speed train purchase project is almost, I think, is finalized. Therefore, it will be supplied by Korean manufacturers next year, I guess. And another project is the construction of high-speed train rail, one more lane construction project. But this project is really mega project. The estimated cost of this project is $3 billion. Therefore, this project also will be the financing scheme, will be most important obstacles or important process for success of this project. And next project is International Airport Renovation Project. Actually, in 2016, this kind of project was processed between two governments. But in 2016, as you know, there was a political change in Uzbekistan. But the project was almost finalized at the time. But some kind of regions, in the final stage, the project was cancelled. Therefore, I think this kind of renovation of passenger terminal of Tashkent International Airport is feasible and the most urgent project, I guess. If Uzbekistan government has some kind of intention to revive this project, I think it will be feasible ODA project. And another one is one of the most important for climate change. We're going to focus on the construction of electric vehicle charging station. As you know, Korean companies had advanced technology in this sector. Therefore, the KOICA and EDCF can cooperate to construct this kind of electric vehicle charging station. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments and suggestions and thoughts and insights from our experts and discussants. And I know we have a time constraint, But from the audience, I want to hear from you if you have any opinions and ideas. So, yeah.
So thank you very much for the informative description of the proposals and areas of cooperation. And Mr. Kwang, you're fully right that there's great potential still for our common cooperation, bilateral cooperation in different spheres, in particular in the transport sector. And you know that even the highway between our most world-famous cities from Khiva and Bukhara was built by Korean engineers, and it is most important highway that for tourists and for SMEs engaged in this tourism sector. And returning to SMEs, yes, my question is to Ms. Jeon from KOICA. Ms. Jun, we know that KOICA office in representative office in Tashkent is actually very successful with its activity in our country, and KOICA does many projects and conducting many projects. And you mentioned Innovative Center and Vocational Training Center. They are very successful. We know, everybody knows this in Uzbekistan. And you mentioned that healthcare and education meets the concept of KOICA policy in Uzbekistan at this moment. But as I pointed out, that it's an urgent task and urgent goal for us in sector of SME is to actually to enrich the knowledges and experiences of assistants of mayor in our country who are actually moving ahead of our entrepreneurs and this sector of SMEs. And we still actually, I was contacting KOICA office in Tashkent, and last year it was actually was unfortunately was not succeeded to start some negotiations in this way. And it is not question, just our suggestion and our request to consider for the next year the possibility of starting some project for assistance of mayor in Uzbekistan. There are 9,443 at this moment in our country, and there are great responsibility on the shoulders of these people, and they are highly important for our economical sector, for SMEs, these persons I mean. And but the knowledges, experiences are not still actually sufficient for their efficient activity based on international standards. And you know, we see the progress, how it's developing everything all over the world, and we should be integrated with developed countries because you know, the trade sector is most important area for all countries of the world, and we should open the doors for our SMEs, for export potential of our SMEs. And taking this opportunity, I would like to ask you to consider our suggestion proposal to include this issue into the activity of KOICA office in Tashkent. And if it's possible, we are ready to start negotiations regarding the trainings. It could be trainings also in Tashkent, organize some trainings. And the most efficient way could be to invite Korean experts to Tashkent who could prepare the local trainers in regions of our country, and these local trainers could further teach the entrepreneurs and population who would like to start own businesses.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Norboev, for your appeal for your department to the KOICA. But because of the
maybe due to the time limit,
Right.
maybe I can just speak after we finish.
great, thank you very much. And any other final comments or desperate discussion or? All right. Okay, last comment.
Hello, I'm from Uzbekistan Embassy, Counselor on Trade and Economic Issues. I'm very much interested in KIND's activities, and the only question, very short one, when KIND will return to Uzbekistan in terms of representative office? If you want to implement a project, if you are not exist in the markets, when will you come back? Let's do it together, let's extend more than Bektemir, Thank you.
So you remember we had the office in Tashkent. Yeah, we used to, but we withdrew about 2 years ago. It was a problem of the budget. So I will actively request our supervising ministry, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, and try to secure the budget, and I will just definitely recommend it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all the contributors, speakers, and discussants, and comments, and audience. I think actually we will consolidate these ideas and comments and suggestions into the K-Day School's policy report. The title of the report is a preliminary study to promote customized win-win development project between Korea and Central Asia. So I hope that this policy report will be very helpful for policy making of Uzbekistan government and Korean government. And I really hope that the Korean government and Uzbekistan government can make some real collaboration projects through ODA and EDCF. And I hope that this session and this forum will be very helpful for this development. Again, thank you very much. Let me conclude this session here, and we're going to have the break, which is good, right? We're going to have the break for 15 minutes and see you at the second session. Thank you very much. yes, for ladies and gentlemen, please, may I have your attention, please? The second session of K-DAY School will begin shortly, so please come to the room and take a seat. We're gonna start the session 2 at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Please come to the room and we can start. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat. I think we need to start our second session. Okay, let me start this second session. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, again, good afternoon. Welcome to the second K-DAY School session for the 2023 Global Korea Forum. Again, I am Cheol-yu, professor of K-DAY School of Public Policy and Management. I'll be presiding this session. On behalf of our hosts, I sincerely appreciate and welcome each of you for gracing us with your presence today for this session. Okay. Now, really, let's commence our second session with the theme. The theme of the second session is sustainable progress, innovations in agriculture, urban living, healthcare, and entrepreneurship in Uzbekistan. For this session 2, we have 3 presentations, and the speakers are Sultanov Abazbek from Uzbekistan Ministry of Transport, and the second presenter is Dmitry Nudachin from the Uzbekistan Agency for Strategic Reform. And finally, the Professor Chung-gun Yoon of the KDI School of Public Policy Management will make the final presentation. The speakers for the first 2 presentations are with us here, and for the final presentation, we will play a free recorded video for the final presentation. Okay, and now please join me in welcoming each speaker to the stage with a round of big applause. Okay, Mr. Abazbek, please make your first presentation.
Can I start the speech?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. Annyeonghaseyo to everyone. Yes, I'm very lucky and honored to be here to speak a little regarding the public bus transportation in the Republic of Uzbekistan, mainly in the capital city. But before starting my speech, I'd like to introduce briefly myself. So my name is Avaz, and I am from the Ministry of Transport. I work actually in the department for the improvement of the logistic corridors and the international relations. So here I've been for more than 1 year, and I'm very delighted to study in the Korea. And thank you for the government of Korea for this fund, for financing this kind of master's degree program for public officials in Seoul. So I study in the University of Seoul. So if you allow me, I will proceed further with the presentation. Before moving to the core topic, I would like to stop a little bit in the Uzbekistan itself. So we have the border with 5 countries. Therefore, my colleague Timur Akramov provided information regarding the transportation infrastructure that is plays a pivotal role in increasing of the transit potential, increasing the goods. Hence, we don't have access to the sea, and we're a double landlocked country. So as you can see here, there is a capital city of Tashkent and the Samarkand. The Samarkand is one of the ancient cities in Uzbekistan. That's why improvement and establishment and new railway track between the Tashkent and Samarkand plays a very crucial role. So we have to improve the mobility of the people living in the Uzbekistan. But now we have only one railway track. When this railway track is used for passenger conveyance and the good conveyance also. And our territory is 450 square kilometers, GDP is 80 billion, and population drastically increasing every year. Currently the population is 36.3 million people, but by the 2030 it's estimated to be 40 million people. And we have 3.2 million private vehicles. So the very important part is that 2.7 million cars are using the CNG gas, so methane gas. The diesel gas or the usual gas, not so popular, frankly speaking. And the roads totally is more than 2,000 kilometers, but in public use is around 44,000. And the total railway tracks 7,400 kilometers, and more than 50 of them already electrified. Here is the brief overview of the Tashkent city profile. So we have 3 million permanent population and around 2 million people arriving from the agglomerations that we have nearby the capital city. And yeah, as you can see here, 1.5 million people arrives, from 1.5 to 2 million. And we have daily moving socially active population is around 3.4, 3.5 billion people. we have 6 million plus public transport ridership, and the share of the public transportation is only 30%. So as you can see here, it's quite interesting if we compare with the experience of the Korea. So in Seoul, subway system is more famous. I mean, the shares of people using the subway service is higher, but in Uzbekistan is vice versa. So according to the last statistics that we had in November, we reached almost 1 million people passenger flow in the bus transportation, while subway transport used by only 700,000 people. And public bus transport fleet is 1,965 vehicles. And in October 22 and in October 23, we got the first in IQ rating with the most polluted air, because pollution of the share of the transportation in pollution in the capital city is 90 and 92%. Here is an interesting table about the bus transport, bus vehicles from the 1991 till up to date. So in 1991, we had a tramway, trolley bus, and buses. So you can see here we had more than 2,000 buses, but unfortunately, till 2022, we had a very decreasing picture. So we've got by the beginning of 2022, we got only 1,100 public bus transportation, which was not sufficient for conveying of the people, of the local dwellers of Tashkent city. And in 2023, by now, we have purchased it according to the will and decision of the President, Shavkat Mirziyoyev. We've purchased it at once more than 900 buses. Here we have the key challenges that we are now facing in the public bus transport. But before moving to the key challenges, I'd like to stop that on the curb lanes, so the side lanes for bus transport. Actually, this is a very good implementation, and it attracts more people, more passenger flow. But on the next slides, I will show you what kind of obstacles now we're facing. And we have 605 signal control junctions. So one of the key challenges that we have the inefficient public transport governance. So it means we don't have the public transport plan still in the Tashkent city. We have segregated land use and transport development, suboptimal public transport network design, and taxi services are, frankly speaking, very cheap, till now. And dominant share of illegal taxis that win over public transportation, undoubtedly, and unorganized on-street parking. So here you can be familiarized with some pictures. So as you can see here, the green buses, the public buses, they are stuck on the congestion, unfortunately. And here you can see the segregated curb lanes, the bus lanes on the side of the walk, and still there is some breach of the rule by careless drivers. They are moving on the bus lanes, and it's prohibited. And here is also some pictures of the bus stops and the breach of the rule, stopping and parking their car along the bus lanes, the huge congestions and unorganized parking lots along the streets. And what kind of solutions and conditions has to be made in order to avoid these obstacles that we're now having? So we have to improve transit-oriented development. One of the good examples that I so far noticed in Seoul, this is the Seoul station. So in Seoul station, you have all combined bus transport, highway speed, even the mall, convenience stores and everything, and even all the business centers located very nearby to this transport-oriented infrastructure. Pool system during 2023, enlarge and renew public transport, and purchase more electric bus vehicles, improve intelligent transport system. So I will give more slides regarding the ITS that we have now in the Tashkent city, and the transport plan. Parking reform, now we have actually the parking reform, it's ongoing process, so we are planning to change 10 streets and create more parking lots, so not so cheap as we have now. And coordinated management of bus lanes and traffic lights will be implemented in 13 selected transport corridors. Moreover, here on the left side, you can notice what kind of buses were purchased in order to increase the traffic flow, decrease the waiting time in the bus stops in the Tashkent city. And 300 of them electric buses, but still in charging equipment are in a scarcity. So we're really in need of improvement of the infrastructure for charging all these 300 buses. So transport card. Actually in 2021, we started to implement transport cards. That is in Seoul, it's very popular. You have the T card. So in our case, it's called Atto. So here you can see in the bus transportation, we have almost 50% of usage this transport cards. In subway, we at the same time use QR code for payment and the transport card. So totally by the end of 2022, it was generally 1 million transactions in a day. And here is the intellectual transport system that we're now improving in the Tashkent city. So it's launched on January 2022. But it analyzes not only transport issues, but all infrastructure problems. It's not like TOPIS. So TOPIS only devoted to the public transport in some emergency situations. But this transport center that you can notice in the picture, so this is in the city hall of the Tashkent city. It's so their functions are very broad. And the main goal in the transport sphere is to fairly distribute the flow of cars around the city and giving the greater priority to public transport. Here we have already implemented and installed on 8 intersections of the central streets of the capital city the intelligent smart traffic lights. And as a result of implementation these 8 intersections with the intelligent traffic lights, the speed and number of vehicles moving on this road actually increased, where it's now 20 kilometers, but before it was less, maybe 15. And in general, in Tashkent city, we have 35 central corridors with a distance of 475. And currently, we have almost finished the plan to reorganize 233 sections connecting 13 corridors. So the performance of MOT, since we're the workers and civil servants from the Ministry of Transport, our colleagues doing their best to implement the BRT system that you have in the Seoul city. But in Seoul city, the length of the BRT system is 150 kilometers, but we have only the side lanes of 44 kilometers. So working in a collaboration with UNDP, we have already designed this BRT lane from the South Railway Station to the Tashkent to the North Railway Station in the capital city. The distance is 7.5 kilometers. Distance is 7.5 kilometers. And in order to implement it sufficiently, the relevant survey of the local dwellers were carried. But before moving to the results of some of the results of the local survey, I'd like to stop on the current situation, which is not so, how can I say, it makes you not so happy to reach from the one railway station to another railway station, because 7.5 kilometers takes usually from 30 to 45 minutes, according to the current public transport. So you can see we use the Yandex map. It's very similar to Kakao and Never map that you use in Korea. Here are the results of the survey regarding the usage of public bus transport. So we've taken the 500 buffer zone of the 7.5 kilometers, and we were pretty lucky to get the results that 52% of people who work there using the bus transport, and they prefer using more bus transport rather than taxi or private. But but 51% of the people. So we've collected the survey of more than 600 people, and 51% of them would not forsake their private vehicle to shift to the public transport. And only 22% of them currently are ready to shift from the private vehicle to the bus transportation if the quality will increase. So they are not fully satisfied of the current quality. And before implementing the segregated lane for public bus transport, we try to get the awareness of population. Are they really aware of the BRT system, or how can they evaluate the project itself? So we've got these numbers. So 60%, almost 60%, they are evaluating it very positively, but 78%, they are voting for the sideline buses. But sideline buses, we already have now the experience that it's not so efficient, and still the drivers breaching the rules. They have a very careless driving, and sometimes the ambulance cars are also stuck in the congestion because of these careless drivers. Actually, it provides us very valuable information that people usually not so interested in how can I say, in the new technologies regarding the public bus transport. So we're now working on implementing a new media strategy to promulgate, to do a correct propaganda of the BRT services that will actually and consequently help the citizens of the country to use public transport more comfortably. So in this case, I'm really confident that we can have a future mutual project with the Korean side regarding the public bus transportation and and obtain the best experience of the Seoul city in implementing BRT system, bus stops, creating and design of the central bus stops. So it's totally another topic because it relates to the guardrail, safety issues, intersections, and so on and so on. And moreover, we have to take also one more very good feature. It's all night shift buses that you have in the Seoul city. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you have any further questions, I'm very keen on and ready to elaborate more on these issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Dmitry, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very glad to see you here. First of all, let me express my sincere gratitude for this opportunity of speaking to you at this important event. It was actually just yesterday that the presidents of our countries had a telephone conversation, and in this regard, I am particularly pleased to witness the pace of development of Uzbek-Korean relations, of friendship and special strategic partnership, as well as the expansion of multifaceted cooperation. And as a master's student at Seoul National University on a Koika scholarship, I, more than anyone else, can attest to the benefits of the sincere assistance that the Republic of Korea provides to the Republic of Uzbekistan. The topic of my presentation today is promoting public health and improving the healthcare system in the Republic of Uzbekistan. I would like to clarify at the beginning that I'm not a specialist or expert in the field of healthcare. However, before I started my studies at SNU, I worked at the Agency for Strategic Reforms, where one of the main tasks was to coordinate the parties involved in the development of the healthcare strategy for Uzbekistan. I'd like to start with current status related to the topic of promoting public health in the Republic of Uzbekistan. We have been undergoing significant demographic, economic, and social changes. For instance, the population of Uzbekistan has been increasing by an average of 500,000 people per year for the last 10 years. And as we undergo this transition and modernization, the significance of developing a strong health infrastructure and effective healthcare delivery systems is becoming even increasingly apparent. Uzbekistan has made remarkable progress in enhancing the healthcare system and promoting public health in recent years. However, despite these developments, Uzbekistan still faces some challenges in attaining health indicators aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals and specific healthcare-related targets outlined in the new Uzbekistan Development Strategy for 2022-2026 and Strategy for 2030. In order to promote a healthy lifestyle and enhance physical activity among the people, the government has implemented various legislative measures and decrees. These initiatives have been primarily focused on preventing non-communicable diseases and enhancing the overall health of the population. They include health information campaigns and education, as well as screenings for early detection of diseases. For example, restrictions on the display and use of tobacco products and increasing liability for violations of these restrictions. As part of the implementation of measures to ensure a healthy diet, market mechanisms have been introduced to stimulate the production and sale of healthy food and to restrict the import, production and sale of food with a high content of fat, salt and sugar. Comprehensive healthcare reforms are now being implemented with the aim of strengthening the healthcare system. The objective of these reforms is to enhance the accessibility, quality, and affordability of medical services for the population. Healthcare facilities, including hospitals, polyclinics, and health centers, are now undergoing expansion and upgrades, particularly in rural and low-income areas. The government is endeavoring to increase the health insurance coverage to a broader section of the population. The immunization programs aimed at preventing and controlling infectious diseases are of great significance as well. To ensure extensive immunization coverage, vaccination campaigns are carried out across various age groups. To enhance maternal and child health care, efforts are being made to enhance prenatal care, maternal education, and access to child health care services. Digital technologies are being implemented in healthcare to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of healthcare delivery. Such technologies incorporate the introduction of electronic medical record, telemedicine services, and health information systems. Uzbekistan is proactively preventing and combating infectious diseases like tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS through targeted programs and information campaigns. Uzbekistan is forging partnerships and collaborating with international organizations and neighboring countries to exchange best practices, knowledge, and resources to improve public health and healthcare. Regarding the regulations, Uzbekistan has taken significant measures to protect the population's health and safety by implementing various legislative and regulatory acts related to sanitary norms and rules. They include sanitary and epidemiological well-being, food quality and safety, and public health services. However, at the same time, Uzbekistan, as let's say any other developing country, faces multiple challenges in its efforts. For example, the shortcomings in data quality, epidemiological resources, and laboratory services. Barriers to identifying, monitoring, and controlling health risks and hazards, including those related to water and food safety, consumer products, and the environment, are also there. The significant burden of injuries related to road traffic is also a major concern. let me list some of the challenges that we also face. Number one is civil registration and vital statistics were not transferred to the new classification. From 2022, throughout the country, all births and deaths have been registered electronically using an automated information system for the registration of births and deaths, including perinatal deaths. Uzbekistan has been using the 10th revision of the International Classification of Diseases for coding and reporting. However, transition from ICD-10 to ICD-11 may provide a more detailed data collection and reporting system. Number two, lack of a unified electronic surveillance system for communicable and non-communicable diseases and health risk factors. There are numerous regulations requiring the reporting of certain infectious diseases and conditions, including plaque, botulism, and post-vaccination complications. However, electronic surveillance of infectious diseases is limited and relies mainly on vertical, non-integrated information services. For example, HIV and tuberculosis patients are registered separately in two different electronic registries, which are not integrated into the existing infectious disease surveillance information system. Number three, lack of a standardized approach to the registration of infectious diseases. Standardized case definitions are very important for the recording and reporting of infectious diseases. In recent years, WHO and CDC have rapidly developed and recommended uniform case definition standards for emerging serious diseases. However, Uzbekistan's Sanitary and Epidemiological Surveillance Service lacks a unified approach to recording and registering infectious diseases. It may lead to the reduced effectiveness of infection control. As a result, the existing system may underestimate the number of cases, leading to delays and non-standard reporting. Number four, lack of a modern laboratory management system to improve laboratory performance. Significant limitations in the existing capacity of regional and district laboratories. These limitations include inadequate use of modern technologies for registering and labeling incoming biomaterials and reagents, conducting sample testing and analyzing data. Number five, measures to prevent microbial resistance to antimicrobials need substantial modernization. Antimicrobial resistance, or AMR, is a serious, complex, and very costly public health challenge. AMR complicates the treatment of infections, increases the risk of their spread, and leads to more severe illness and death. One of the main factors contributing to the emergence of drug-resistant pathogens is the inappropriate and excessive use of AMR medicines. For example, Uzbekistan is among the 15 countries in the WHO European region with a high burden of multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis, MDR-TB. Another major concern is the environmental system to combat the development of antibiotic resistance and to control the inappropriate use of antibiotics in livestock and poultry production. Number six, despite the high burden of road traffic accidents, epidemiological surveillance of road safety is lacking. Road traffic accidents are among the leading causes of death in Uzbekistan, with the total number of deaths reaching nearly 2,500 in 2021, which is 1.7 times higher than the total number of officially registered COVID-19 deaths by the end of 2021. A significant number of those injured in road traffic accidents were children, with almost 250 fatalities of 1,200 children injured. 70% of the children injured and killed were pedestrians, 20% were car passengers, 10% were cyclists. Violations of speed limit were responsible for 1/3 of road traffic injuries and deaths. The economic impact of road traffic injuries is significant, with annual losses in Uzbekistan of about $3 billion. These losses mainly affect the economically active population of the age 15 to 64 years, which accounts for 84% of the total losses. Number 7, measures to ensure access to treatment. Treatment, care and support for patients with HIV are insufficient to meet the WHO 95-95-95 targets by 2030. Uzbekistan hasn't reached the WHO targets for HIV response. Only 78% of people living with HIV know their HIV positive status. 59% are receiving ATR, the therapy. And the percentage of people with undetectable viral loads among those receiving ART is not even available. HIV testing rates remain low even among key populations. And finally, testing of the population for hepatitis B virus and hepatitis C virus and treatment of patients with a positive diagnosis are not sufficient. Hepatitis B and C infections are major public health challenges in Uzbekistan, affecting a significant proportion of the population. It's estimated that at least 3% of the population, more than 1 million, are infected with hepatitis C, and 3 to 5%, almost 2 million people, are infected with hepatitis B virus. Alarmingly, a study in Tashkent in early 2020 showed that 60% of those infected with hepatitis B and 75% with hepatitis C are even unaware of their status. In response to this problem, presidential decree in 2022 set ambitious targets to reduce the number of new hepatitis C virus cases by 90% and mortality by 65% by 2030. At present, the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Uzbekistan, together with interested ministries and departments, is developing a medium-term strategic document on further development of the healthcare system. Thus, the draft national strategy, Population Health 2030, is in the works. Taking into account that the document is still under interdepartmental approval, the slide shows preliminary key directions taken as a basis for the strategy. As you can see, they mainly are concerned with bringing primary health care closer to the population, supporting and promoting healthy lifestyle, healthy nutrition and physical activity of citizens, protecting motherhood and childhood, expansion of specialized medical care, digitalization of the healthcare system, putting an end to bureaucracy, unreasonable red tape and queues, modern and efficient management methods of medical services, improvement of personnel qualification, private sector investments and PPP projects, material and technical base of medical institutions, effective regulation of the pharmaceutical industry, improvement of financing, and eventually being among the countries with a stable epidemiological situation. We in Uzbekistan understand the importance of the availability and quality of such a document as a health sector development strategy for both ministries and agencies within the government, as well as for various stakeholders, including international organizations. I hope that the adoption of such a strategy will increase transparency and understanding of further actions, make these actions more understandable and predictable, and will improve the overall coordination. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Dmitry. And as I announced, we have recorded video for the third presentation, but I want to give more time to our discussants. So I will not play the video of the third presentation, but just we will move on to the discussion session. So please give the staff a couple of minutes to set up the tables and chairs. And our discussants, please come to the stage. I'm so happy to have these excellent and distinguished guests, or guest speakers and discussants for our session. Let me introduce them to you. From left to right, Jin Jae-young, he's the head of Korea office of the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, which is called MIGA, of the World Bank Group. And second, Choi Jong-hoon, he's the division head of the Korea Action Bank. And Soon-jin Park, she's the country director of the Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA. And finally, we have Park Won-seok. He's the director of the Korea Foundation for International Healthcare, which is called COFI. As you may imagine, they are real practitioners and they are real experts about the international collaboration between Uzbekistan and Korea, and also other international collaboration projects. I'm pretty sure that we can learn a lot of insights from them, and they can share their experiences and knowledge and thoughts. So please welcome them with applause. Okay. So who will start? So can you start?
I'm very honored to be here. I'm very glad to present World Bank's works in the Uzbekistan. For me, actually, I just came back from the Tashkent this morning. I spent the weekend in Tashkent because the MIGA is currently looking at the 1 gigawatt the solar PV project in Buhara and Kashidaria. I think the reason is that we understand that since 2016, Uzbekistan government embarked on the very ambitious economic and sector reform. Then, based on the World Bank's IDA, the resource indication index, actually the Uzbekistan is the first, the strongest reformer over the last 5 years. Under this sector reform, we see the more PPP and private sector transaction. And MIGA is the guarantee agency within the World Bank Group. We are supporting the foreign the investors who are coming to the developing country. So 2 years ago, we supported a gas to power project in Uzbekistan, and also we are currently looking at the energy sector and also the real estate sector, and also finance sector as well. I mean, in the previous session, I saw that the governor of the central bank mentioned about the financial access to the small medium economy, small medium the enterprise. Actually, currently the MIGA is they're working together with the National Bank of Uzbekistan (NBU) to support small medium enterprise. So under this context, I'm very happy to be here. I think it's a very coincident, good opportunity. The MIGA is the part of the World Bank Group, and we are also very closely working together with our colleague at the World Bank and IFC. And the last year, we prepared together our country partnership framework, the CPF, the CPF described the World Bank's group's support, the financial support and the analytical support to Uzbekistan for the next 5 years. And basically, this CPF, we will support the government for the transition to inclusive and sustainable the market economy. And currently, we have 3 focus. The first is the increase private sector employment. And the second is to develop human capital. And the last one is support shift to the more the sustainable, the greener growth model in the country. Given this, at the moment, the World Bank, we have the 25 project with $5.2 billion of a commitment. And actually, the Uzbekistan is the third largest the client from the World Bank Group's perspective. So I think Uzbekistan is a very important client for us. Also, recently we understand that the Uzbekistan government asked us to be the coordinator, I think the global platform secretary for this year. So basically the World Bank is trying to improve the coordination of activity among the all development partners. So at the moment, I think the sector perspective, the largest lending goes to the agriculture. The second one is the energy. So we see some business and collaboration, the opportunity with the other the Korean agency in those areas. In energy sector, we see that there's some opportunity in the renewable energy and also the modernization of transmission line. And also, we understand that the government also want to promote the hydrogen as well. Also, we are seeing that several the energy storage project. In the agriculture sector, we see some opportunity in the smart technology, and also we see that some value add for the export. Also the agriculture and the water sector, we see that the water efficiency improvement in irrigation for the agriculture is also important in the country. Other than this, we see that some also the good opportunity in the digital, including the e-commerce, and also the financial sector, including the restructuring and the privatization of state-owned banks. So given this, we hope we can more closely work with the Uzbekistan government as well as the Korean parties here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, I'm dealing with the financing for development projects for Uzbekistan. Today we talked about several sectors. In session 1, mainly the economic-wise infrastructures. In this second session, the urban development and the agriculture and healthcare sectors. We understand that we cannot go further on every specific details of these several sectors in this limited time. So I'd like to suggest how we can make development projects successful. Well, I'm not the sector professional. I'm the ODA agency director. From what I experienced over the last 15 years in this area, I'd like to propose my colleagues from Uzbekistan in government to use various instruments. Not only, I'm not simply talking about the financing. I'm from the Korea Exim Bank, but I usually finance the development projects, but I do not focus only on the financing for development projects because I understand the simple projects cannot guarantee the successful economic development. We don't, expect the project, let's say the metro project or e-bus, electric bus project in a mega city can lead the Uzbekistan to a successful level. It will not happen. One or two development projects cannot guarantee the successful economic reform, economic changes. What I want to stress to make this successful out of financing development projects, I'd like to propose we need to use multi-pronged approach. When we talk about metro project in a mega city, we also need to see the policies, urban development, transportation policies, and capacity of institution. I mean the ministries, the Ministry of Transportation and the project implementation unit, the agency, the related institutions and the ministries should be capable. And I'd like to also put emphasis on the enabling environment. When I say enabling environment, it is related with the relevant laws and regulations. So, the policy level, enabling environment, and capacity building of institutions and the concerned ministries. And later on, if we provide financing for transportation projects well equipped with such enabling environment, then we can say our project can be successful. So when I asked if my colleague from Uzbekistan come to me and let's provide financing for metro project or whatever project, I always ask them what are related policies, and then what are the improvements, and then what are the consultations and the counseling from the partners for those related policies, transportation related policies, and capacity building. So when we talk about the successful implementation of the project, we also need to take care of these three-pronged approaches to about the policies and capacity building, and later on, maybe at the final stage, we can talk about the financing for individual projects. So simply, focusing on the financing for projects that cannot guarantee the success. But happily enough, Korea, the EDCF was established around 40 years ago. So we've been providing financing, but by my calculation, from 15 to 10 years back, our government is also providing experience sharing, the lessons learned from the development history. We have lessons from our failure. We have lessons from our success. So our government also would like to share those failure experiences and success experiences in regard to policy developments and capacity building. So EDCF cannot solve all of the problems, all of the development issues. I'd like to ask my colleagues from all development partner countries to use those three category instruments Korean government and Korean aid agency is providing. We have many good serving public companies, water sector, the transportation sector and the energy sector, the public companies, their service is very, very good, and their quality is good, and then their the methodology is quite good. So just knocking the door with those public service companies, and then you can get the kind of consultation to fit your needs. Of course, the solution is different from your solution. So you can ask the tailored the counseling in such specific areas. So I'd like to ask you to use these various instruments, not only about financing. In case of our bank, the Korea-Exim Bank has introduced a grant for maintenance and operation. After we finish and complete our development project, we provide a grant to serve the soft landing of those projects on the ground. So for a certain period of time, for let's say 3 years or 5 years, if we set up the hospital or power plant, we can provide a grant for the successful maintenance and operation. So it is very useful to use that. My colleague visited your country this week, and then had a policy dialogue with the Ministry of Economy and Finance. And then we discussed the top priority sectors of the national development plan of your country, and also we gave the ideas of the priority areas of EDCF. So we try to find then the mutual grounds. Then out of those mutual grounds, we will have a midterm pipeline. So that is the procedure of developing midterm pipeline. Uzbekistan is number 7th ranked out of our the financing with 19 projects. The total amount is $930 million. I heard from my colleague in Uzbekistan yesterday, the framework arrangement will be changed and the number will be doubled. Well, up until today, almost 75% of our financing went to the healthcare sector so far. And then we'd like to diversify, also taking care of your priorities, and then it shall be the area of rural development to realize the balanced development, and also to the e-government. So the key sectors was discussed on Monday and Tuesday in Uzbekistan to set up the midterm pipeline. Well, today I didn't want to talk only about financing for projects, because I know very well the failure cases. If we go alone without considering the policy issues and the capacity building of institutions, those projects will not be so successful. So we always try to get together with the government people and the project implementation units to talk more about the policies and enabling environments. So this is my suggestion to make development projects successful. I'd like to kindly ask you to use various instruments Korean government and Korean aid agency is providing. Thank you very much.
네, 압살라말라이쿰. 여기 네, 제가 우즈벡 지금.
So I was country director of Uzbekistan until July, and I am going to speak in Korean. But if I speak in Russian, I think it's going to cause a lot of confusion. So I know there are participants who have received KOICA scholarships, and there are some familiar faces on the floor. So very glad to see them. So I worked in Uzbekistan total of 5.5 years. And the transition Uzbekistan has shown is very impressive. It's almost incomparable to see the transition of Uzbekistan from 10 years ago. When I left Uzbekistan and went back to Uzbekistan, the difference that I have felt in Uzbekistan was huge. I could have the impression that I was working in a very dynamic country. Uzbekistan really made a huge advancement. And many of my colleagues have said that it's very great to work at Uzbekistan. So it's very glad to hear that comment. And I'm sure many of you know here that you need to pay more attention to Uzbekistan to truly realize the great transition Uzbekistan is making. In the past 3 years, whilst I was doing business in Uzbekistan, there are some points where we can reflect back and make improvements. The ODA environment in Uzbekistan is changing enormously, and the role of WB is increasing. And there are many loan programs have been launched. PPP and private investment are happening a lot. But what I have felt is that Uzbekistan is very moving quickly. They like to do everything quickly and in a fast manner. If we look at Uzbekistan for past 6 to 7 years, they have drawn very good policies and made many efforts. But when we were actually implementing them, it was very difficult. Probably because the ODA resources is not something that you can get the next day, and it takes at least 2 to 3 years or 4 to 5 years, a very long-term project. So if we talk about it, and then they want to implement it in 2 to 3 years, it's very difficult to implement it. So whilst that implementation process, there were so many transformation. So frankly speaking, Uzbekistan is one of the difficult countries to do ODA projects in terms of executing projects. There are many restraints in terms of time and budget. So personally, there were many plus, but the budget restraint was one of the biggest challenge. And we put too much time to convince the necessity for transformation. When I talk to recipient countries, for example, MBDA and other areas are similarly experiencing these challenges too. So if Uzbekistan can slow down and have a long-term perspective, probably it would be better. Yes, they need to do the business at the right time, but there are some trials and errors. In the health sector, Kofi will mention, but Dimitri has also said that we have started a project worth of $14 million. So we ask for your sincere support in this area. We mentioned smartphone and transportation area too. It would have been great if we had an expert from the Ministry of Transport. And the Ministry of Transport is making a master plan for transportation system in Tashkent. and they are working hard if they could make better suggestions. And we do 60% of grant ODA, and there are many areas where EDCF could be involved, and also Ministry of Industry could be involved too as well. So the Ministry of Industry and Ministry of Transport could work together to attract more private investment to continue businesses and projects in Uzbekistan. So those agencies in charge of infrastructure maybe stay tuned with these ongoing projects and the status of these projects. And from the presentations we have heard, mainly we talked about experts revitalizing exchanges, open economy. In order to achieve all these, we need a private capital. When private capital, private organizations going into the Uzbekistan market, well, they are very anxious because there aren't many success cases. So it's very cautious for private organizations to make an entry to Uzbekistan market. In order to overcome these challenges, of course, it takes time. And high-level officials are working very hard, but also the working level personnel also need to work very hard. Building and strengthening capacity in the local market is too important. Last comment I want to make regarding ODA is the country platform. Maybe the Agency for Strategic Reform is well aware of. Maybe multilateral institutions can all be integrated to make country platform and have a great interest in this country platform and make a huge emphasis in ODA. And if Uzbekistan can make the use of country platform and there are rooms to gain insights to progress these projects, I hope that this can go in a right direction. I experienced a great deal in Uzbekistan, so these are my general feedback and comments from my experience. Personally, Uzbekistan President declared to be open and has improved relationship with its neighboring countries. So I think this is going very well. And the number of flights between Uzbekistan and Korea is about 13 to 14 flights in a week. So we are actually very close. Many projects that we have done in Uzbekistan, for example, infrastructure, capacity building, have done well, and they can become a role model to be expanded to other regions. So please take this into a consideration and act like a leader to lead these projects. Thank you very much.
네, 안녕하세요.
Yes, thank you. My name is Wontak Park. I am director of COFI. And we heard from the previous discussants and we heard about actual experience at the site. Now, we are behind schedule. We don't have much time. So I would like to limit my comment to the healthcare area. So what kind of future direction should we have for the healthcare area? As you know, we have the development strategy for Uzbekistan, and they have strategies for the different sectors. And there are details for each of the sectors. I'm sure you're fully aware of this. And also, if we look at the presentation that was made, by the second presenter. Well, this new plan was established, I believe, last year, and I think they're now preparing to implement the strategy, Population Health 2030. So they have 12 strategic directions, and they have 9 major actions to be taken or tasks. And of course, the directions are in order to implement a very advanced healthcare system in Uzbekistan. And we have CPS of Korea, and we have the basic direction there. So we want to modernize healthcare and also focus on capacity building. And if I add to that in terms of facility, well, we want to provide high-quality healthcare services, and we want to prevent diseases, and we also want to modernize the facilities in Uzbekistan. And also, we need to better respond to diseases, and we also have to work on strengthening the manpower capabilities. So KOICA will have to work hard, and of course, we're carrying out projects in line with these goals and objectives. So, yeah, some priorities are mentioned, and they talk about digital health and also motherhood and childhood care and primary health care and so forth. So this was mentioned during the presentation. Now, we have engaged in some projects that are relevant to these fields, and of course, we want to have a common theme, some sort of continuity to the projects that we carry out. Now, as for the priorities that were mentioned in the strategic directions, well, what is the biggest goal? The biggest pillar, the first pillar would be better access to healthcare. And so that would be the overarching goal. That would be the umbrella goal. And then underneath that overarching goal and theme, we will need to carry out specific projects. And in line with these strategies, well, we have some projects being carried out by COPI. So beefing up capability of emergency response. And we are doing first line of project. We did it for 3 years, starting from 2019 in 3 cities in Uzbekistan. And we have checked the effectiveness of the project, and we will be expanding to 13 areas, and we will be putting in additional funds. And also regarding cervical cancer, well, we are carrying out a project on cervical cancer as well. And we have women of childbearing age, and we are working on a project for that group as well. And so if we get positive results from that project, then from year 2025 to year 2030, we will be carrying out additional projects. So it has to do with health insurance, and of course there are national screening programs carried out by the Uzbekistan government, and our project will be linked to that national screening program. And so we have been working on several programs, and of course these projects are aligned with the existing strategies, but now we have the Population Health 2030 12 strategic directions, and then there are 9 challenges that have been identified. So I think we have to further consider the 12 strategic directions and the 9 challenges as we tailor our projects. And in the past, not many of our projects were working on digital, so that's something that we will have to emphasize in the future. And of course, we will be working closely with the relevant ministries, health-related ministries and agencies in Uzbekistan.
For this very insightful comments and suggestions and knowledge sharing. Actually, we had to finish this session by 4 p.m., so ready for 12. So I'd like to finish this, conclude this session here. But from the audience, if you really want to share your thoughts, and then this is the final call for your. Yes, please.
Thank you. So it's really good platform for us to exchange our opinions and to deliver our voices, yes, to each other, and our interest for collaboration. And firstly, I would point out that I'm representing the agency for work in Mahalabai and the development of entrepreneurship. Maybe you heard about this agency. We still young organization which were founded in 2021 in December. And we are a state body which is responsible for development of entrepreneurship of Uzbekistan. Yes, and we cooperating with World Bank, and we conducting the second phase of project in the agricultural sector. Maybe you heard about it, yes. And actually, it is the only project that was given that we could start with the World Bank, but I think the potential is really great, and the area of cooperation is very good. And you mentioned that the agriculture and energy sector is actually the concept and the top priority for your activity of World Bank in Uzbekistan. And I should say that if we talk about agricultural sector, most of our entrepreneurship actually engaged in this sector, and we have a lot of issues that could be improved in the activity of entrepreneurs in agricultural sector, and we have to improve infrastructure first of all, and a lot of related issues that we would wish to discuss with World Bank. For example, the highly important and relevant agenda now is land, effective use of lands, because our president started really unprecedented reforms, and he actually gave an approval for giving the lands for entrepreneurs for 49 years. It's a long term, and but the entrepreneurs who got these lands, they don't have enough experience, knowledges, and now we see that these lands actually, unfortunately, not always using in effective way. We should actually show them, our entrepreneurs, how to use it in quite productively, and it's important issue. And we would ask you, World Bank, also to consider some discussion with our agency, about the projects related in agricultural sector. We have a range of numerous actually ideas and suggestions where we could work together. Yes, that is the first to you. Thank you. And second issue actually to Exim Bank, if it's possible. Yeah, you really said that the capacity building is the most important issue, and I fully agree with you. And we discussed yesterday, maybe, with Mr. Huang from your colleague, yes, and we pointed out the importance of capacity building of state bodies related to the process of promoting and supporting entrepreneurs in Uzbekistan, of SMEs. And you told us that the finance is not always what could be expected, is not actually maybe the main agenda. And in this regard, I would ask you to start cooperation with our agency and related state bodies attached to actually responsible for the development of entrepreneurship. And of course, not as the last, financial tools could be also a very good agenda between us, because a lot of, not a lot, you know, they're rising new and new organizations, governmental and non-governmental, promoting entrepreneurship. For example, the Ministry of Economy and Finance was recently founded the Department for Development of Entrepreneurship and Improving of Business Climate. And they're also responsible for the policy of SMEs and the conceptual part. And we are working actually in all regions of Uzbekistan with assistance of me. We do practical work, and they're like the department giving an idea how to do it in better way.
Mr. Nurbayev,
It's too long. Yeah?
I'm going to make the comments one by one. I think we can finish the session here.
I will finish with my thanks to
Sure.
Miss
Yes,
Park.
please. Yes.
Miss Park, because I remember her.
Yeah,
Yeah. I you know, I saw her at the Ministry of Labor, and she was so active, and yeah, and we love her.
Right.
I couldn't say that. Sorry. And Mr. Park, thank you very much for everything you have done for us, and you created such a good. Educational centers, Koika centers, and that is our proud. And a lot of people getting very good professions, and using this opportunity, please accept my thanks for your great job that you have done in our country. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your contributions and patience or whatever. And actually, you know, I prepared something to say here, but I will not share this because, you know, I found that our discussants' comments and know-how experiences are much better than mine. And I really appreciate your comments and your contributions and presentations today. And I promise that I will, you know, combine and incorporate all these presentations and discussions to our policy report, research report, and I will share that to you. And again, thank you very much for all of the contributions today. Let me stop the KDS sessions here. Thank you very much. 제가 다른 기회에 한번 더 초대 부탁드리겠습니다.
Thank you.